God said, "This is the sign of the covenant that I make between me and you and every living creature that is with you for all future generations. I have set my bow in the clouds, and it shall be a sign of the covenant between me and the earth. When I bring clouds over the earth, and the bow is seen in the clouds, I will remember my covenant that is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh. And the waters shall never again become a flood to destroy all flesh. When the bow is in the clouds, I will see it and remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is on the earth." God said to Noah, "This is the sign of the covenant that I have established between me and all flesh that is on the earth." Rainbows. We, as modern and sophisticated people, all know that they are a natural phenomenon that is completely understandable from a scientific point of view. That is right. All of us know that they are created when the light from the sun bends around the earth because of gravity. No, wait, I think it's like there are these prisms floating around in the sky, and they... Have you ever seen the album cover for Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon? Well, I guess it's kind of like that. You know, like when you drop acid at a psychedelic rock concert. No, really, we do understand them. Even if our explaining skills are a bit rusty, we know that they are not created by God or gods in order to convey messages. But does that mean that we never view them that way? I have certainly had mystical experiences with rainbows. Once, I was at a national church meeting where the entire denomination was wrestling with a very difficult issue over which there was much disagreement. Meanwhile, a great thunderstorm raged outside. Fortunately, by the time the session ended with a resolution that seemed wise and timely, the rain had ended. I was one of the first to leave the hall, and did so to see a vibrant rainbow stretching across the evening sky. Did I see that as a sign? A message from God? I admit that I did. What is more, I was in no hurry to go anywhere that night, so I hung around the exit from the hall, while dozens upon dozens of others exited. I watched each one react with wonder and awe. They all knew how rainbows work, but it was clear that many of them were experiencing more than just the phenomenon of light being bent through water droplets suspended in the atmosphere. They experienced the presence and even the voice of God in that moment. 15 years ago, there was a YouTube video that went viral. It was posted by a man known as Bear Vasquez after he observed a beautiful rainbow near Yosemite Park in the United States. It was so popular because, as he films the rainbow, we hear his over-the-top reaction to what he is seeing. He laughs, cries, hoots, and hollers. And I'm sure that one reason why people loved it was because they were laughing at his reaction. But surely there was more to it than that. People recognized that, as crazy as it may have sounded, he was being authentic. He was having a real mystical experience, just because he had seen this beautiful, natural phenomenon. And I think that resonated with many people who had had similar experiences, even if they didn't express them in such wildly over-the-top ways. There is something common about that kind of experience, and I don't think it has really changed that much with the advent of scientific explanations for the phenomena. Some things about human nature just haven't changed. This is Retelling the Bible. Episode 9.15, Noah, the Rainbow Guy. That's a full rainbow. All the way. Double rainbow. Oh my God. It's a double rainbow all the way. Whoa. That's so intense. Whoa, man. Whoa. Whoa. Shem, Ham, and Japheth looked at each other incredulously. I think, Japheth ventured tentatively, I think that the old man has kind of lost it.
Whoa, man.
Well,
Would you look at that?
Yeah, Ham agreed, but really,
God.
who can blame him?
Did you see that? I've never seen anything like it. It's like a gigantic bow made of all the colors. It's too much. It's too much.
We have been shut up inside that damned ark for over a year, looking at nothing but 4 gopher wood walls. We're all feeling pretty loopy. Let the old man have his little moment of beauty.
God,
Don't you
look at
think he
that.
deserves it?
It's starting to even look like a triple rainbow. Oh my God! It's a full-on double rainbow all the way across the sky. Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh God! What does this mean?
It just seems a little bit much is all, Shem chimed in. If it weren't for the fact that Dad isn't supposed to invent wine until next week or so, I would suggest that he had been having a little bit too much to drink. You don't suppose? Could it possibly be that he found some way to light up the hemp that we set aside to make ropes? Just let him be, Ham insisted.
Oh my God!
I'm sure
God.
he'll settle down soon.
It's so bright. It's so bright. Oh my God, it's so bright and vivid. Oh! Ah! Ah! It's so beautiful.
Well, Shem observed, he doesn't seem to be settling down at all. In fact, he seems to be slipping into some kind of spiritual experience here. He keeps on going on about his God.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's a double, complete rainbow.
Which God do you suppose that is? I imagine that it is the same God that he said sent that horrible flood in the first place. The one who told him that we had to build this ark, Japheth ventured. You mean, said Ham, that he has suddenly started praising the God who put us in this gopherwood prison for 370 days? What do you call it when somebody starts to sympathize with the people who have taken them hostage? You mean Stockholm Syndrome? Japheth suggested. I don't think that has even been invented yet. He couldn't be suffering from that. Well, he is suffering from some kind of delusion, and if we don't get him to settle down soon, he might just have a stroke. The man is 600 years old, after all. Dad! Yes, it is quite beautiful, but that doesn't mean that it has to mean something. Maybe it's just the light from the sun bending around the earth because of No. Don't listen to Ham, Dad. Just imagine there are like these prisms floating around in the sky. You know, like on the album cover for Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon.
What does it mean? Tell me. Too much. I don't know what it means. Oh my God. It's so intense. Oh my God.
Noah's intense experience continued for some time. But eventually his sons, with the help of his wife and theirs, got him settled down. They fed him and put him to bed in his room inside the ark. And when he drifted off to sleep, they all thought that the familiar surroundings would put all of the craziness out of his mind. By the next morning, he was indeed much calmer. They were thankful for that. But he had not forgotten his experience with the rainbow, and he seemed even more convinced that it all had to mean something. He spoke of it calmly to his sons over breakfast. My dreams were all filled with rainbows last night, my boys, he said. But somewhere in the darkest part of the night, I think I was finally given the answer. I think I know what it means. The God that I serve, the God who sent this terrible flood, is a war god, as you well know. He fights for the sake of his chosen and faithful servants. It was God's fighting instincts that brought all of this destruction upon the face of the whole earth. His response to the violence and wickedness of the people of the earth was to wipe away all the guilty with divine violence. But I know what the rainbow means. It looks like a bow for firing an arrow. And that is what it is. It is God's war bow. And God is tired of wielding it. In fact, I think that God has figured out that the best way to stop violence and destruction from happening may not be with more violence and destruction. God wants to try something else. So, what I saw yesterday was God's war bow. He has put it down. He doesn't want to solve things by destroying anymore. He is making a new covenant with us and with the whole earth. And if we can live by that covenant, especially if we too can put down our tools of death and destruction, then we can live in peace with all of this world that surrounds us. That is what the rainbow means. Ancient people who lacked the knowledge to explain many natural phenomena turned naturally to the supernatural. Gods were invoked in order to fill in the gaps in human understanding. But ever since the beginnings of modern times, science has been filling in those gaps. As a result, there has seemed to be less space for the divine action. This has not surprisingly led to a growth in atheism and a general decline of theistic understandings of God. But belief in God has certainly not disappeared. Nor have people limited the action of the God that they believe in to the gaps that science has not, or at least not yet, filled. That tells me that belief in the supernatural was never just about explaining what people couldn't otherwise explain. I insist that human beings are wired to find God and to encounter God, even in natural phenomena that they do understand and can explain. I cannot prove to you, of course, that God exists and speaks through rainbows. I can only say that I have experienced that, and so have others, including Bear Vasquez and, maybe, Noah. That is it for this episode of Retelling the Bible. Thanks for listening. Share the word by telling somebody else about this podcast. The theme music for the podcast is Ada by Kevin MacLeod. It is licensed in the Creative Commons and can be found at incompetech.com. For the mood music, I could not resist using a couple of instrumental versions of the Double Rainbow song by the Gregory Brothers. These were recorded by Rain Alpha and by Andrew Plays Piano. You can contact me on Blue Sky at Retelling the Bible and on the Facebook page Retelling the Bible. Show notes for this episode have been posted at retellingthebible.wordpress.com. Thanks again to my Patreon supporters Go to patreon.com/retellingthebible to join them in supporting this podcast. This is Retelling the Bible, and I have been your storyteller, W. Scott McCandless.